Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy. We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
Episode...
Well,
it was 2-8 last week.
Well, there we go.
Are we on?
We're back.
Yes.
Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. 208. Where are you going, Perry? Oh my gosh. No. Don't bail. Don't jump ship.
No running.
Don't jump ship. You're too little.
All right, guys. If we answer any of your questions or we're going over it and you happen to be on, throw us a follow-up. We'll always go through our follow-up questions that kind of relate to the ones we're going over. We like the back and forth. It feels more personable.
Yep. And please include the age and breed of your dog.
Yes.
All right. We've got some questions.
And thank you, Mini Poodle. That's exactly what we wanted. Mini Poodle, 5 months. Thank you for age and breed. How do I stop him from eating his own poop? Well, there's a couple things that kind of happen. Sometimes when dogs are a little bit younger, they might not have all the nutrients they're getting, so they kind of start eating poop at a young age because they're missing those. And then it just becomes a habit. They get used to it. And, poop doesn't taste bad to them. It's just a source of nutrients. Some dogs do it, some dogs don't.
Yep.
Can we stop it? Yeah. You got to put your dog on a leash. You could have all the proper nutrition. Your dog will still go back for the poop when it becomes habitual.
Yeah.
So that means you're taking your dog out on leash. You're taking them out for a potty. They're kind of settling down a little bit before going onto the grass. You let them go potty. And then right when they're done pottying, am I talking too loud? Am I scaring Perry? Perry likes me. She works with me a lot.
She's just like one's down. She's just like
she'll want to be high up. But I basically will get my poop, and once I get the poop, I'm already. I don't think she wants to be in here right now, Bethany.
I don't think so either.
Hey Ricky, I think Perry might be done.
She's fine, and then she's like, no. It's when we started talking louder. She was like, no, I don't know what this is.
Well, this room also echoes.
It's like, I don't know what this is.
I don't even know how I still remember what I was talking about. That's not my MO. All right, after your dog poops, you're going to pull them away from it while you clean it up. But you have to pick up the poop almost instantly. There can't be the poop, turn around, turn and eat. You gotta poop. And right when they're done and they're like stepping away from it, you're already pulling them away, moving in and picking it up. Now everyone's gonna ask me about, what about the supplements? The coprophagia. There's something
pineapple.
called coprophagia. Coprophagia. And basically what it is, it's supposed to make poop taste bad.
You could dump some hot sauce on it in the yard.
Someone else told me that too, actually. It's supposed to make poop taste bad because I guess for every dog it doesn't taste bad. You have to give it to the dog who's pooping out the poop that your other dog is eating, or you give it to your own dog if they're eating their own poop. But you have to give it to the dog who's pooping out what your dog wants to eat. I know, it's weird, I know. There's also a little bit of pineapple juice. I'm not a huge fan of that one because I've heard citrus can actually be really bad for their digestive tract. Yeah. So I don't know enough about it to recommend it. So I'm not going to, I'm just going to tell you what other people have said.
Agreed.
Even the hot sauce, that's like one of our gag jokes kind of. But I've had Rotties that owners are like, yeah, I tried the coprophagia. I tried the technique that you mentioned. This dog will rip me off my feet to get to the poop. So they did a couple splashes of habanero sauce, and the dog had some diarrhea for a day or two, but never went back for the poop.
Still ate it?
Oh, yeah.
You would think when they would smell it, they would.
Oh, no, it ate it. But I think it was actually the feeling of the bowel movement that actually stopped it from eating the poop.
Oh, my gosh.
Looks like a cat. But we don't recommend the hot sauce or the pineapple juice. Those are just things we mentioned because other people have told us they've worked. As a trainer, we don't recommend them. We say coprophagia if you want a crutch, because it is a crutch. You're not truly helping the dog learn.
Right.
Leash is how you teach your dog not to go for it.
For me, though, what he's talking about is more management. A 5-month-old can absolutely have some sort of no involved, but here's the thing. Poop is food. Blech. So the no...
And it's a natural process.
The no... Okay. You stop it right there. I'm barely hanging on by a thread over here, not vomiting.
She's still got prego belly.
Gagging. Oh, my God. So, yeah, my gag reflex is going to be forever sensitive, I think, after having a kid. Okay, so anyway. Oh, another doggy.
Cooper? Oh, is it Pippa? Oh, you look just like Cooper.
Pippa is
My
gorgeous.
goodness.
Pippa is so cute.
Pippa has the nicest fur, and she smells just like her mother. She's got wonderful perfume on.
I haven't met her, and her eyes were just like,
She smells so good.
I don't know you.
That's the best groomed dog we have at our store right now.
She is so
Everyone take
cute.
notes.
Okay. Anyway, you need some sort of valuable no around it. But if you're not also doing management, it's not going to work. They'll just push through the no. You could try a pet corrector. So pet corrector makes noise. It goes, except it's much louder. And so you actually have to guide your dog away. And then as they're headed, so you have some leverage, you have some time to intervene. And then as your dog like turns around and goes back towards it again, no, pet corrector, see if that's enough. Early in my career, I came across a trainer that stood inside and popped balloons every time the dog would go towards the poo. And he would do that like once every 3 months. Told the family do it once every 3 months for like a year, and you won't have any issues anymore.
Surprise factor.
And so that's the thing, is that there's got to be some sort of valuable no. Yes, you could pop the leash. Yes, you could do something like that as well. But that does hinge on you being with your dog forever. And you just got to remember, it's just like counter surfing. If you don't have your management one day and you left poop in the yard and the dog's like, there's no one around and I'm all alone. Well, I'm not supposed to touch it. And then the next day it happens again, or a week later it happens again. Yeah, she's wanting you. And then what happens is then they decide to snatch it up and nothing happens to them. And then now you're kind of back at square one, and then they'll start doing it all over again. It's the same with counter surfing. So when it comes to this kind of stuff, you just kind of got to keep that in mind. Ooh, so much of it is preventing the habit in the first place. So gross. Sorry. Oh, you don't have your phone out for...
I know. My dog did it one time when she was a puppy, and I was mortified by it. We spent about 2 weeks working on it. Every day I was out there with her for every poop, every bowel movement, every potty. It stopped after about 4 or 5 days.
My German Shepherd, I still have to give her reminders, like probably once every 8-9 months. It's because of the cats. Yeah, it's because of the cats in the neighborhood.
She kisses me when she comes.
I know. All right. I make sure there's been no poop eating for at least a month before I bring her. I promise.
I don't believe you.
It's true. I actually do. Tips for 6-month-old that randomly developed fear on leash. He growls at dogs that walk by us.
I would propose that it probably wasn't that random.
I love the word random.
I like to go off of this reference. I don't even remember who said this. It was a trainer at some point that I'd met. All right, Pip has done too. It's too cold in here. I think they're uncomfortable. It's freezing. It feels like I'm in an ice box. I'm gonna get a thermometer, put it on the wall. All right, so I was told by a dog trainer many years ago that every dog is like, well, let's relate it to a human because we like to humanize dogs anyway. So just like a human, you have so many interactions before you're tired, you're cranky, and you're frustrated, and you're going to kind of snap back at someone. It might happen over 2 or 3 or 4 days of getting pushed, but eventually you're going to be like, hey, leave me alone. There's kind of like a snappy reaction to it. Dogs, their brain works differently. They don't rationalize human thought. So I'm in the understanding that every dog has a number in their brain. It could be 1,000, it could be 10,000, it could be 20,000. And when that
a level of tolerance.
Yeah, thank you. A tolerance level. That's like the number of dog greetings they have where they're going to be tolerant to it.
And then they're done.
And they're kind of just like, oh, you want to sniff my butt? Well, I don't really want to say hi to you. And you get the snappiness. Every time you let your dog greet, but there's no control to the greeting, there's no obedience, there's no structure, and it feels like a free-for-all, you're allowing your dog to make the decision to greet and also choose how he greets, whether he's standoffish, friendly, mean, aggressive, or neutral. It's not their job to figure that out. It's our job to teach them what we want from them. Go, I know you're bursting at the seams.
Well, I don't have enough context, but oh yeah, I don't have got the other one up. Okay, so if you want to give me more context, that would be great. But like, if you lived in a busy neighborhood and you only walk in your busy neighborhood, that means that 80% of the dogs that you're passing by are growling, barking behind fences. They're pulling on leash towards you, eyeballing your dog. All of that is very antisocial behavior. And so it loads and loads and loads and loads. And then the puppies just had it. Now they're an adolescent. They're 6 months old. They were a little insecure as a puppy, but they dealt with it. And now they're an adolescent. So they're starting to come into their own, and they're tired of it, and they're ready to fight back.
They're dealing with it in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so, for me, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, we just want you to have some context just to the dog psychology behind it. But at the end of the day, you've got to stop letting, not that you are, I have no idea, but you got to stop letting dogs come so close to your dog, especially greeting them. You got to take control of the walk. You got to start seeing a dog, let's go, turn, sit, good food, let's go, do some turns, cross the street, bubble way out and around dogs. I'm sorry, we're training if they're like, oh, my dog's so friendly, or if they've said hi to your dog before, and teach your dog to follow you. Get your dog to start looking to you for information, for what do I do in this scenario? Because if you have a fearful dog or a puppy that was like a little nervous, or maybe they hit a fear stage, that could have been it too. And then now they're reactive. They did not have a relationship with you where they feel safe and secure. And I'm not saying that to be mean. So many people are in the same boat as you. So stop taking that dog for neighborhood walks. Get them to the park where they're less likely to see reactive dogs and they have way more space to breathe and do turns and work for food and work off of people walking by rather than it being like this close thing, and start to build the confidence up.
Look for dogs barking behind fences and gates. That's one of the hardest things for a young, unsure dog to walk by, is a dog running along a fence, barking at their face as they're walking by it. Cross streets, avoid that stuff.
Stay away from them. Now, if you don't have a choice, and I understand in some areas to some degree you don't have a choice, what you want to do is, on your day one, you might be doing 15 minutes. Like if Sparky is the house with the barking dog, you're here and you're just doing turns under threshold where the dog obviously knows the dog is there barking, can hear it, and you were just getting your dog into a groove with you, and the dog is so nervous and so unsure, and it takes so long, 15 minutes, and you still got 15 minutes back home. That's your walk. You don't even get past that point. And then when the dog gets more and more secure and they're like, okay, I know what to do, and you're not overloading my brain, and you're getting like a little closer and a little closer, then you're going to hit a point where you need to bubble out and around. Don't ever walk in like right, in front of a sidewalk with the dog right there. So.
And don't stop and sit and look and stare. That's how most reactivity starts, is
loading.
Owners sitting the dog wants to either go or leave. We hold them in a sit. We're actually loading up overstimulation until it becomes an emotion that they respond to.
Yeah, that's like an advanced step to be able to do duration, sit, or down around all of those triggers.
We do 3 months of training and 4 private owner lessons at a park before we do anything like that with our owners. And even then, I had a lesson yesterday that we couldn't do it with. The dog just wasn't emotionally ready to be able to sit there and look at dogs walking by.
Well, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, start, like, when he said the dog isn't emotionally ready, it's such a good thing. Like, look at the dog's triggers, the dog's emotional maturity level. What have you done at home to even get him ready for those types of challenges? There's just so many things that you can be doing at home as well, to build their resiliency. Anyway, I could go on and on.
I like place on the patio. Look up a video.
Okay, the Little Grace Farm, Dachshund, 12 weeks. How do you move from puppy doing things for treats to puppy is obedient? That's a really good question. I want to kind of preface it by saying, because we do sometimes get questions on this. 12 weeks old, 16 weeks old is definitely still a puppy, and you are still going to be using food for quite some time. In my opinion, you shouldn't be in a rush to wean off of food. And I don't mean you specifically, the Little Grace Farm. You're just asking, when can they wean off? I'm just saying in general for everybody, especially if you live in a city or busy suburban environment. If you like using food, especially if you're more positive reinforcement oriented, you're not going to be getting rid of food anytime soon.
Yeah. If you're not using training tools, you're using food for 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah,
you always use food because that's your dog's greatest response
That's
factor.
your tool. The food is your tool for sure. But anyway, just to, if you're doing some sort of balance, for us, it really depends on the dog. But the short version is inside. You are weaning off pretty quick. Like by 12 to 16 weeks old, I'm only feeding every few commands. I'm not feeding every single time we do our routines. I'm probably feeding more organically through the day for behavioral stuff like mailman, come, place, food. I'm probably doing that for a few months still. But for me, it's like you wean off pretty quick inside. Where you don't wean off is outside. Outside's going to be months. Obviously, it depends on if your dog is more insecure or works really well for food. If you have a jittery dog with food, then ignore what I said. By the time the dog hits 5, 6 months old, we're getting rid of food, but then you have to have head control. If food makes your dog jittery, pushy, anxious, excited, rather than focused, then yeah, it's different. So I guess I can't answer it unless I know more details. What do you
About the dog, about how pushy they are. Yeah, I think we need to know more too. Some of the stuff I start looking for when I have our dogs in store and I'm converting from in store to out store, like progression wise, is when I start getting more focus. And it's kind of like a funny tell, but when I can puppy sit, good food, watching it, and I have a trainer, like one of my other trainers come, they start chatting with me, and I'm able to kind of like, oh, talk, look back, good, food. Talk, look back, good, food. And I'm lessening the amount of food and I'm upping the amount of space between them. And that dog is still just kind of like, okay, I can wait. He'll give me attention in a second. That's when I'm like, okay, I can wean off more food inside. When I go outside, I go back to the basics. I'm one treat for every look, one treat for every second, but I'll wean off of that too. If I have a jittery puppy, when I'm weaning off of food, it's not time yet. They're not ready for it. So when your puppy can naturally kind of hold more of a calm state in a not busy environment, but even in an outdoor environment that you're working them into, that's when you can begin weaning off of food. You'll learn very quickly whether you should or shouldn't have though. When you tell your puppy come and they go, and maybe they kind of decide to come, you need more food. Yeah. You got to keep using it because you need more focus. You're conditioning your puppy to want to look for you over other distractions.
Two things. Because we don't have a lot of questions today.
No, we don't.
So, woohoo, I can
we get to talk.
I can go off. Okay, two things. One is you need to focus on building space between your marker and your food delivery, and then several markers before your food delivery. So an example of that would be, say you're doing place duration, place, down, good, then reach in pocket, then piece of food. Or if you already have a piece of food in your hand, good. Piece of food, right? And then you do several come, place, down, come, place. You can lure at 12 weeks old, you can lure, but you don't give them the food always. And then good. Stay, back up. Good. To the side. Good. Move in, food. So start building more between your marker and your food, and then just doing more before you give food. The other thing that I just kind of want everybody to keep in mind, I've had two things happen with my 12-year-old border collie, Dusty, who wasn't even trained on food. I got him as an adult, and for reasons I won't go into, I chose not to use food to train him as a whole nother thing. But I have used food occasionally for some other stuff, for insecurity. So ever since having baby Ewww, and we go on hikes, he knows I'm distracted, and he wants to kill things. And ever since I had a little baby girl, she started hiking with me when she was around 1. She's 2 now, and so we try to go at least once a month. He knows I'm more distracted. Well, the other day, he got a lizard. And he did not kill it because my OUT is awesome. I just shouted out, and he looked very sad, and he had his paw on this giant lizard.
How big was it?
It was huge. I thought it was a snake, but it was a lizard. It was so big.
I love Dusty. He's such a good dog.
And he just he's down, he's like ready to grab it, and he looks at me like, crap, she caught me. And I was like, and I said OUT, and he freezes, and he just very sadly let his paw off of it.
Probably shot right into that bush.
But man, I had already seen a difference in his focus on hikes, and then with Ewww, and then add the lizard catch, and he was like looking all the time. Mm-hmm. I do balance training. I absolutely correct my dog if they don't listen to me, especially a 12-year-old border collie who is very well trained. Corrected him a few times. He softened a little bit, but he just was not as crisp. Took him again, brought out some food, did like 10 recalls in a 30-minute time period. I still stay relaxed. It's an older dog. Come, here's a piece of food. Come, here's a piece of food. It just bridged that gap between fighting me, looking for critters to kill, of like, oh, I'm not supposed to, I don't want to get in trouble. And it actually built a little bit better of a connection, between us. It kind of repaired some of what Ewww and the lizard catch did. What is my point? My point is you're going to go through different stages in life with your dog. Yes, it's important to properly wean off of food. I'm not saying it's not, but there are things that are going to happen that's going to make you backtrack on all kinds of things. Maybe you had an off-leash dog and you need a leash for a while. So just keep that in mind in general when you're training dogs. It is not a one and done scenario. Life happens, things happen to dogs, things happen to families, and you need to adapt throughout the life of your dog. So
I had a lesson this morning that is so similar to what you just said, but for a puppy, that I'm going to go over it because we have time and no other questions.
I think so, yeah.
You guys are boring today. That's okay.
Yeah.
We'll be crazy. I had a lesson this morning with a doodle that's about 20 pounds. It's a small little guy. And in our last lesson, we kind of give a little bit more freedom of movement, freedom of sniffing, recall from it. Like we give more of what an adult dog's life out of our program looks like. Having freedom at a park, coming back, being able to follow owner across. So I did my normal spiel. And we did our let's go work, which is like kind of following in a really, really loose heel. So the dog's not on heel. They're just slack
loose
on the
leash
leash.
walk. The
Loose
bubble.
leash walk. Thank
The
you.
bubble.
I just don't think people know what heel is, but yeah, okay. Long leash. We're having some fun. And the dog was phenomenal coming back for food. And I could kind of see some changes happening at like the 10-minute mark. And I was like, oh shoot.
Did it all go to his head?
Holy smoke. So I gave the leash to the owner. She got another 5 minutes or so in, and it was amazing, phenomenal. I'm like, okay, let me take that leash back. And we started doing some down state, which is a suppressive technique. Down means we're suppressing the emotion of excitement to get it down
When they
and
want
help
to
them
sniff,
settle. Oh, and
whatever.
all he wanted to
That's
do
what I
was
figured,
sniff
yeah.
and run.
Yeah.
I watched this dog be a perfect angel in every lesson I've done with structure and obedience and minimal freedom to just kind of go out and run. And the dog is phenomenal. At the 30-minute mark, this dog had an epiphany that it was in charge on a flat collar, on a long leash.
Grass is like catnip to puppies.
Oh, it's crack.
It's
It's insane. I had to go to my car, get out my pet cot, which is an elevated dog bed about a foot off the ground, because I had to get the dog out of the grass. It was just too much. And we actually had to spend about probably 25 minutes just doing a downstay until the dog couldn't really handle it anymore, break to release the energy, right back to place, work them into a sitting it down. We had to use food. We weren't using leash to force anything. Like the dog was so mentally fried that it needed a strong food lure just to go back to the basics. I looked at this owner. I said, your dog's 4, 5, or 6 months old. She goes right in the middle at 5. I said, holy smokes, this adolescence is intense.
Yeah.
And it was an adolescence battle. And I think I'd actually triggered it at the park when he finally got a bit more freedom. She'd really been following our structure schedule well, really minimizing that and upping the training, the walking, the structured play. So this is an idea of kind of a dog who lost it. And what it took to get him back is about 20 minutes of play, sit down, pause,
Structure.
food, seeing the cusp, like where we couldn't push the dog more, and then releasing them and then redoing it. 25 minutes, I was able to get the dog to settle, and the mom was able to get a sit down, stay, 20 feet back, return a few times to treat, and bring the energy down even a little bit more, and even recall the dog to a beautiful sit. We would have had to end our lesson without those downstays, without working the dog down. I know it's not exactly weaning off of food, but it's a very similar principle of holding the food, waiting for that energy to settle. You're going to be virtually doing the same thing when you wean off of food. If the dog's amped up, ready to go,
Yeah, what are you rewarding?
you're rewarding crazy.
Yeah.
When you reward calm, you start teaching puppies how to settle.
Yeah. I have a theory about that.
Ooh, tell me. Let's
Okay,
go. This
we've
dog
talked
is
about
madness.
it. We've talked about it a little bit, and you've argued with me a bit. But
Oh, I
I think,
like to argue with you,
you've
though.
come over to my side a little bit.
Uh-oh.
My theory on this issue with city dogs going to the park and losing their ever-loving minds,
No, okay.
I've proved it, I think, a few times. I've proved my theory a few times through working with clients early, because we don't always get clients early. They wait till the dog is 4 or 5 months old and they're already having a lot of these behavioral issues.
Your socialization window is about 10 to 14 weeks, or 12 to 14 weeks
I
or
think
so.
they say 16, but anyway. I think it's 16. I think it's 16. We'll have to look it up. 16 or 17
I know it's
weeks.
4 weeks. I might have my numbers off.
But anyway, and then also we've got, diseases in the city. So it's like stay inside. Whereas my parents' farm dog, he was lazing around at 14 weeks old in the sun on the back porch and then, chasing off critters from that early of a life. And he's just calm and, chill unless there's a critter.
He was able to work.
Yes, unless there's a critter. He was able to be free. He didn't learn what freedom is at 5 months old at the park with a crazy amount of smells, crazy amount of traffic and like all this other stuff that happens in busy suburban neighborhoods in the city. And that was his first intro. That lesson was probably his first time going to that park and being on a long lead. So it's overwhelmed. And it would really be so much more natural and more fair to who the dog is to do that much, much earlier with the dog. And so what I mean by that is, and everyone's afraid to do it, I get it. Get your dog on a really secure harness, maybe even a backup to flat collar, or get a martingale. Take your young puppy as soon as you are comfortable. I have to say that. And obviously it needs to be to like a cleaner park area, concrete.
Less frequented area.
Yes.
So usually parks without restrooms for humans, they tend to be the quieter parks.
That's a good point. And areas that have like a lot of concrete, sometimes that's kids areas, things like that. Put them on a 10, 15 foot long line. And this is what's going to make you uncomfortable. Do it in your yard first if you have a yard, or a side run. But get out there and your dog's going to do zoomies. They just are. Just let him get some zoomies out. Have your treat pouch. Let him get some zoomies out. You know, just go with him and just hold on to the leash.
People like watching zoomies anyways. Everyone's going to love that.
And then eventually when they get a few out, especially if they start biting ankles, because that's the next thing we usually hear is they start to bite ankles in the yard and stuff and at the park. Before it kind of gets to that point, just kind of hold the leash firm. So you got that loop. Just kind of hold it against you firm. Just let them kind of hit the end of it. Just on a harness, on a wide, martingale. And don't say anything. Just be a brick wall. And they'll kind of go, oh, and then they'll do it again. And it'll take 2-3 times. And then when they're a little slower, not a lot slower, but a little slower, hey, look, I got a piece of food. Come, move back, move back. Good piece of food. The next time, come, move back, move back. You're moving back, drawing your dog in, and then ask for a sit. Good food. And and then maybe some turns and some food. Start to shape them while they're out there. And maybe all you can handle is 20 minutes because all that zooming really pooped them out. Well, the next time you go, the zooming will be less. The next time you go, the zooming will be less and less. And then by the 6th time, you can say, hey, knock it off, give the leash a tug, and draw them into you faster. You can actually disagree with the zooming because the edge has been taken off.
Can you say what time that was by? Because I think that was really important. What trip to the park was that where you can finally give that little tug?
Anywhere between 3 and 6.
Yeah, so we're not talking first day there. Don't suppress your puppy. Let them do what Bethany's saying. Let them run, have some fun.
Let them run, yeah.
Bounce off the end and then eventually call them back. Yeah. Don't try to suppress that energy right away.
Don't set a tone right away.
They're puppies, they're babies. You actually want them to get that enrichment through nose, ears, and eyes, but not so much eating the grass.
And then just calmly walk through the park and just be boring. Let them sniff as long as they're not hitting the end of the leash. And then if they just look at you, good piece of food is waiting for them if they come to you. And expose them to this much earlier so that way it's not a 6-month-old German short-haired pointer that you're doing this with for the first time. Or I have to say this. If you are doing this and you're letting them chase birds, you're letting them chase wildlife, you're letting them chase things, and then it's 6, 7, 8 months old, it's out of control and you can't even hold your dog back anymore. Well, that's because you didn't do what I said and reshape them through food, letting them hit the end of the leash, drawing them into you. I do understand there's lots of different parts to that. You might live in such a busy area. Your dog's already barking. Like I do understand there's some nuance to that. I can't help everybody.
For that stuff though, we do recommend you get a private dog trainer. You need someone that does some one-on-one.
Yes.
And if you're dealing with barking or any form of reactivity, we usually recommend you get a balanced dog trainer.
Yep. Really focus on front yard, backyard, side yard, lobby. If you live in a condominium, the hallways in your condominium, you do all this. Do 10, 15 feet in the condominium, unless there's like a neighbor next door that wants to kill dogs. But I meant the dog, not the human. I meant
what? I did space out while I was imagining it, and then
preface that. I said as long as you don't have a neighbor that wants to kill your dog, and I didn't mean a human.
Oh, okay, I got you. A neighbor dog.
Yeah, a neighbor dog.
I had this scenario, and then I just saw this little Freddy Krueger man with a knife coming towards my dog.
We're visual people. That's how
I was visualizing it.
But you could really do it. You could do it on a 6-foot leash. If you do have the husky next door that's just looking for a chance to eat your little Pomeranian. So you could do it on a 6-foot leash too. Everything we're talking about, giving them freedom, drawing them in, giving them freedom, drawing them in. Anyway, do this in all of those scenarios for a month, get it really sharp, and then, head to the park, as soon as you're comfortable, with your booster level and things like that. So do you have anything to add before we sign off?
Get a second opinion on booster levels and all that.
I thought you meant on me.
I am the second opinion.
Get a second opinion on Bethany's
Get a second opinion on the last 30 minutes of... No, if you have a vet who's really, really strict about it, just get a second opinion. There's a lot of different information about different vaccinations and when dogs should be able to socialize. There's also a behavioral end of it too. That socialization one is a lot younger than when most vets are telling you to socialize your dog.
Yeah.
So do your research, your due diligence, so you can have questions for your veterinarian.
And weigh the pros and
if they mention
cons.
you, to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, weigh your pros and cons.
Yeah.
And to all you vets out there, I'm not saying take the dog out and get him sick. I'm just saying it's a conversation that we should have with you guys.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.